Hi everyone, my name is Steph Kennard and I am the co-founder of Bonnet. Today I'm going to be taking you through a demo of our platform. So essentially what makes Bonnet unique is that we have what we call the traffic light. So essentially we're connected to the NZTA. Anything that needs actioning is in orange, everything that is super urgent shows in red. So this is lifetime changing depending on your compliance for WAF, COF, Rego road user charges. So that's the NZTA link that we've got there, but then we've got other elements that add to this too, like vehicle warranty, tyre rotation and servicing and more. So all of those things kind of contribute to this traffic light ordering. So when you log in, the theory is you action everything in orange and then obviously really urgently action everything in red, but red should only really be for the vehicles that are in the shop or if there's a reason why you haven't kind of purchased the new compliance or gotten a service. So we do have multiple views. So this is my personal favorite. It is just kind of like a how you like to read data kind of thing. So there is also, if you click up the viewers table, there is also a spreadsheet type view as well. So if you're coming from using a spreadsheet and you just like to look at data in this formatting, then you can just click on viewers list and then log out and essentially it will stay on this page. All of the data is the same and there is also the ability to book a service, add a service note, refresh dates, etc. Now to add a vehicle, just go add a vehicle. I'm going to try and enter one in that I haven't put in one before, so we'll see. Here we go. Oh, I've done it before. Good one. So I'm going to add this vehicle. What this is going to do is it's going to do an instant lookup with the NZTA. So this is going to show you everything that it knows about the car. Make, model, year, RUX, WAF, COF, like all of the stuff like that. As you can see here, Rego, WAF, RUC. And then it's going to be leaving fields blank that helps you identify this vehicle, but also things that it just simply doesn't know about your car. So nickname, so that's generally who drives the car. And then location is, you leave it blank if you've only got one location, but if you work with multiple sites, you can just put the region here or the work site, depending on how you're managing that asset. Now you've also got service due date and then service due at kilometres. So whatever triggers first will trigger the servicing reminder. So the odometer reading here is also quite an interesting one. So it's the last odometer reading that you got when you got a warrant of fitness for this car. So generally speaking, 95% of time, you will always need to update the odometer reading once you load it to Bonnet, because the odometer reading we know about your car could be 11 months behind or it could be last month's. There's hubbo tracking if your vehicle needs that instead. Machine hours, if there's anything on that vehicle that like a compressor or something like that. And then there's also vehicle warranty, new market, aftermarket, regardless, very important. Tyre rotation and the frequency you need to rotate these depending on how used this vehicle is. Insurance date, insurance provider, select the cover of insurance, and then you can also upload the policy. Now the service centre linking is very cool. So we've got a third of service centres in New Zealand on Bonnet. If you don't find yours on here, you can just submit it via the website and we add it within 48 hours. If I go and search for a service agent and add this vehicle, it's going to do one of two things. It's going to mean when this vehicle needs to get a warrant of fitness or a service next, that I can just go to the vehicle. I just click on the other list because I like that a little bit better. You can just click on the vehicle and click the book now, and it will take you to the right booking page for that vehicle. We know that fleets usually have a lot of different service agents they might use. So if all your vehicles new Ford Rangers, you're probably going to be linked to Ford. For all your used vehicles, you might be linked to the local service shop, and then if you've got machines, that will also be different service agents. So that's really important, but also when you go and get this vehicle serviced through the service agent, they've got a free portal where they can actually drag and drop your worksheet reports, your invoicing and any images. All of that information will show in the service log section here with their logo next to it, as you can see, the Ford logo. So you know that these entries without a logo is your drivers entering service logs, and the ones that are have a logo are the verified service agent records. So this is really important for us. We want to get as much information digitized as possible in here because we're going to be launching service summaries shortly. So imagine dropping all your information into ChatGPT and it's going to tell you running costs, it's going to tell you what it's going to predict to be needed to change about your car. So if you've got a Ford Ranger 2025 and a lot of people have this one bug but you haven't actually had it yet, it might suggest that this is going to come up for you. So it's just really going to help you maintain your fleet and also show you which vehicles you're spending the most money on and when to get rid of them. If you have a machine in your fleet, you can click add machine and add the machine here. All machines on Bonnet are free. Track engine hours when the vehicle's due based on engine hours for the next service. They're really helpful for you guys to use this and invite the drivers to enter the engine hours via their mobile app, like as they walk around the yard constantly. So we're kind of really helping digitize that process. Now, in terms of service logs adding yourself, so if you go and get that vehicle, like an oil change or anything like that from one of your drivers or yourself, you can just go add service notes and actually enter in what you've done to that vehicle yourself, what date it was done. You can put in oil change, notes for next service, so you might have noticed that the back rear tyre tread is low, and then also upload an image of that tyre or whatever it is. And so submitting that or add it to the service logs page there. So it's also worth noting that when you invite drivers to your fleet, they can also add records from their phone that shows in here as well. So let me just show you how to add a driver. So if you're a business and you have drivers, you can add them in here. You add their email address and you can enter in their driver license expiration too or leave it blank, it's up to you. And then you select the vehicle that Greg drives on his daily. Apparently it's a Lamborghini today. And then also the shared vehicles, machines, trailers, anything that you basically want him to be able to see on his phone. Co-management of either his compliance requirements, but also being able to access and put logs in any of these vehicles is the ones that you want him to, are the ones you want to select for him to see. So inviting him instantly creates him a profile and sends him logins to log in. And then he can see those vehicles on his app. He can technically log into the web portal too, but drivers technically use the app 95% of cases. Now, if you've got a branch manager or if you're the owner of the company and you want your fleet manager to also use this, we've got manage access in here. So you just click grant manager access. They need to be signed up to Bonnet to be able to be found in here, but you just put in their email address. Oh, sorry, my fingers are really cold this morning. Not working properly. You select if you want them to see all vehicles or just specific locations that you've assigned to those vehicles. So that's branch managers more so. You can select if you want them to add and edit vehicles. So pricing is dynamic with Bonnet. So just bear in mind if you're getting them to be able to delete and add vehicles, that's going to be changing your pricing. So when you delete 10 cars, it goes down. When you add 10, it goes up. You've also got the ability for them to see GPS tracking as well. And then you go grant user access. Now in terms of tracking, let me show you that. So this is a fleet throughout the country. You've got obviously orange status for ignition off and green for ignition on. You can zoom in and click any kind of vehicle that you want. You can go view tracks, view compliance, view address, what speed they're going, when they were last recorded, so that's when the engine was on, and then the odometer reading. So the odometer reading comes out of the engine if it's post 2018 and it runs your rucks and servicing. If it's older than 2018, the vehicle will track it by satellite. End result's the same, automated ruck and also automatic servicing. So if you want us to purchase your road user charges for you, you can either have the drivers update an odometer once a month and we can run the rucks from that, or you can choose to use our GPS devices and fully not rely on the driver at all. And in terms of road user charges, we purchase in increments of 1, 5 or 10,000 kilometres. There's another video with more details on that, but we can do your auto rucks and soon auto redro as well. So let's find a driver and select a date we want to see tracks for. So if I click that, I can see where this driver has driven throughout the day. You can see the little marching ants tell me what direction he's going in. If he's overlapping directions, they're going to look back and forth like that. And we've got heat mapping on exactly what speed he was going then. Fortunate for Nick, he did not speed that day. Otherwise, you would see a little bit of purple there. On the left side, we've got the list of his stop and start points. So essentially, all of the green ones are drives, and then all of the orange ones are stop points. So we can see here that he started his day from Marine Parade, and he went to go drop our son off, because this is my partner. Daycare, hold on. So eating and demo videos don't go hand in hand. And you can see there he stopped there for 1 hour and 19 minutes, which actually is that McDonald's? Oh, jeepers, he actually went to McDonald's for breakfast that morning, which is funny. And then you can see him starting again, and basically start and stop, and that's him playing golf. So that's fantastic. In terms of construction services, this is really useful for you guys to check your invoicing and just check where your drivers have been stopping for pies, basically. In terms of up the top, we can see here how many trips he did, the distance, and also active drive time. You can click on any point to kind of see more details about that point, and also if I just go to a trailer, so trailers show a little bit differently. 1 second. So here's a trailer. So the trailers, so we've got different devices for trailers, which are magnetic devices, because there's no power source to those trackers. We ping them at 6 a.m. and 9 p.m. To conserve battery. So this is the starting point of the trailer, and this is the end point. No one moved it, but essentially, if that was moved to a work site, you'd see the stop and start point for trailers. So they're just done a little bit differently. In terms of the right side panel there, you can look to see all of your vehicles on a list, and also just search for certain keywords and things like that too. And yeah, this is pretty much the finish of the demo for everything that we got live. Now I will just jump into one more thing that we're getting asked for a lot at the moment, and that's inspection checklists. So let me show you what we're building. So this is the prototype of what we're building for inspection checklists. So essentially, our most requested feature is inspection checklist, and so we're looking to have this live ASAP, but essentially we've just made it super simple. So essentially you can build as many lists as you want. We've got 4 templates: EV, passenger, truck, and incident, and machine. Actually that's 5, incidents technically the 5th. So you can choose any of those templates and then modify. It's essentially a form builder. You can delete and add certain questions, and then assign them to drivers. When the drivers submit them, so basically you'll select to show monthly inspection checklist to a certain amount of drivers at what time, and then they basically get a notification on their phone and they submit it. If it comes in through, and as a pass, it means that all of the questions were correct and not an issue. If there was any fails in there, there's 2 statuses that they come through: medium or critical, and this is where they fall. So this is like your work board for a fleet manager. This is all the failed inspection checklists for whatever reason. Critical would be like missing a wheel, medium might be like the tyre, that the oil is low or something like that. And so you've got to action these, whether that's in shop or not actioned. You're basically using this as like your work board. Now in terms of passes, you do get a list of historic passes, so you can see all of those here and then click into them and view the details. In terms of lists, so these are all the different lists that you have set up to show your drivers. So essentially you can click on a list to see, you know, what all the questions are. You've got the answer type in orange and red kind of like what it means to fall into the critical or the medium category. And then you also have the ability to add a new list. So for example, here we've got like grooming and rental inspection checklist, monthly truck or passenger vehicle. It's basically just all the ones that you set up. You can add a new list name, list type, select drivers to add it to. So this is, you know, select all passenger vehicle monthly checklist, display an app, of course, alerts, what day and time it will send, etc. So in terms of what it looks like, and then when you're actually inside the list, you can add and remove items by here. So add and remove items, and then kind of build that list out yourself. Now this is what it looks like on mobile. So when it comes through for your driver, it will show here. So that's the due ones. When there's nothing due and he submits this, it will go down into history. And then there's a report an incident. So if this driver gets into an accident or a crash or something happens, he can go report incident, and that's going to send immediate alert to whoever needs to kind of see them. This is kind of what the inspection checklist looks like. So of course these fields don't really worry too much about them. They'll be whatever you base, whatever your template or list is set to. And then there's an option for the driver to actually scale the urgency as well. And they can save as draft. So if they want to, if they need someone else to kind of add their thoughts to it, or it needs to be seen by someone else, you can save as draft. That's more for rental companies in terms of the groomer and then the actual physical walk around with the client, things like that. But for construction services, you just go submit all the time, I'd say, because I don't think there'd be multiple people looking to walk around the same vehicle at that specific time. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So that's going to be a really key factor in terms of adding a whole lot of health and safety into our platform. Yeah, if anyone wants to try it out, let me know.